Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and we're going to compare iOS 8 with Android 5.0 Lollipop. This is actually iOS 8.1.2 and Android 5.0. On the Moto X, this is the 2014 Moto X, and this is the iPhone 6. So both of them very similar fronts, but we're not here to talk about the phones, although obviously with Android you get a lot more phone choices. It's a little bit limited right now with Lollipop, but that will change over this next year. So you can see both of them look really nice. They've got the newer, flatter design, and depending on the icons you have, such as Instagram or whatever you might have on your home screen, those icons are obviously not going to change based on their brand. But everything else is sort of flattened. So you can see here, this is the new Android material design, and we've had this design since iOS 7. So we have, with material design, they've kind of created a design language with things that overlay one another, where Apple has chosen to use transparencies with this quick bar. So we can get the same sort of effect here. If we pull down and pull down again, we have our quick settings. So we have our notifications and quick settings, where on iOS 8 we've got our notifications and then our quick settings. So both of them have a different way to access those type of settings, and it just depends on what you're trying to do. But both of them are really nice looking, and they've done a great job with design here. One thing Lollipop adds is a lot of motion compared to the previous versions of Android, such as KitKat. There's a lot of different motions. If I open the app drawer, close the app drawer, you've got these fluid motions everywhere. Anywhere your finger hits makes different kind of a little indent depending what you're doing. So if you're scrolling on a web page, and apparently I was on Microsoft, but let's go to my site, and you can see everything here is flattened. We'll do the same over here, just to give you an idea. And you can see here when we get to the top, we've got this kind of darkened area that lets us know we've reached the top. And if I move my finger here, the darkened area moves with my finger. So everything is sensing what I'm doing. Here we just have the rubber band effect, and both of them are very nice, clever ways to let you know you've reached the top of a page. Both operating systems are super smooth. Android 5.0 is right on par with iPhone, in my opinion. There's very little lag on either of the devices anymore. Now it's all about refinement. Aside from the material design where things overlay, if I go into this app drawer here and double tap here, where we have what Apple kind of did was copy WebOS, and Android here kind of did their own little Rolodex thing. So if we want to get rid of an app, we swipe. Here we flick up. Then we have some quick contacts on the top with iPhone. If we go back home, you can see the animations. Go back home, and there's an animation. So everything is very fluid between both operating systems, and I really personally like both. Now, I've been an iPhone user since the original iPhone, and I've used every version of Android as well. This version of Android really has me thinking about switching, and I just wanted to throw that in there because at the end of the video I'll want to ask your opinion. But as for now, design-wise, they're both great looking. Some may prefer Lollipop, some may prefer iOS 8. That's something that's really, really up to you. Now, as I mentioned before, smoothness is something that makes using the operating system enjoyable. So if we go into a folder here, you can see this little folder action. And similarly, we have folders here, but they kind of zoom in on iPhone, where you've got this transparent background. Here we just have quick animations. And again, both are nice. Apple originally did have a reduced motion added to this version of iOS since 7, since this motion actually makes some people sick, which is kind of interesting. It doesn't really affect me, but it's one of those things that's interesting to note. As for notifications, both of them have notifications on the home screen, and as you can see here, there are some notifications, and we can act on these notifications on Android. Now let me turn off the iPhone, turn it back on. I don't have any notifications here, but if I did, I could swipe them and act on them a little bit and go into, say, a text message. In this case, we'll go here. Thanks for subscribing. As you can see, all these different things. Now I can swipe this off the screen, and the next thing rolls in. It's really nice and very intuitive, and we can swipe this up and everything's got a nice motion. Same with iOS, everything's got a nice motion. So everything's super smooth. I showed you the web browsers, and those are nice as well. The next thing is actually battery life. Battery life is greatly improved on Android Lollipop. So much so, I'd say that they're pretty much on par at this point. iPhone has always been better with battery, with the same amounts of battery, say 1600 milliamp hours or 2000, whatever it is. iOS has always been more efficient, and that has to do with how the operating system is obviously built, and that will make a difference in a lot of different areas. Now, as for Android Lollipop, they actually said they increased it to provide 1/3 better battery life. And I have to say, I definitely see that. Both devices, I really can get through the day without thinking about it. And that's really a testament to what Android's done on their side, and obviously how well Apple's optimized iOS for battery as well. So gone are the days of, at least for the most part, gone are the days of hoping you get through the afternoon or evening, depending on how much of a user you are, power user or not. Both of them are really good for battery now. Along with the battery, you also get some monitoring tools now under usage. So you can see battery usage on iOS, and we can go into our settings, and again, go to battery usage on Android. So here's battery. And you've got use since last charge. This was just unplugged, actually. And this gives you different details. So they both give you details. iPhone gives you the last 24 hours and last 7 days. And as you use the battery on Android, again, you get this little graph, and it gives you more information. And on both, obviously, you can install different apps that give you even more information. iOS and Android both have customization, but most people are already familiar with Android in that it's known for its customization. So as you can see, this skin, or the Android Lollipop stock skin as it looks here, can be highly customized and changed. If I don't like the way any of these icons look or the way the background's laid out, I can change it. If I want a widget, or Google Now here in this case, I can add a widget. You just tap and hold and go to widgets, and you can have a widget for just about any app. That's one thing iOS does not have. It doesn't have widgets. It has things in the notification today view that you can add a few widgets here as well for whatever different apps allow it. So Pulse, for example, is a news app. If I go back and hit done, you can see it just threw in some new news items. On this case, we can find a similar widget, but it will give us a little bit different, and honestly, it's a little bit nicer view. So for example, here's Pulse, tap and hold, and maybe we put it here. We'll pick what we want. I want all channels. We'll go home, and now we have Pulse. We tap on it, it opens the app. So it's really kind of nice. You've got different types of widgets, but on Android, they're right on the home screen. On iOS, they're in the notification drawer. It's just a different way of organizing similar information. And arguably, Android has a lot more customization that way. There's all sorts of things that Android allows you to do along the lines of customization that iPhone does not. Personal assistants such as Siri, Cortana, or in this case, Google or Google Now, are really something I actually find I use a lot, and both are equally good. Both can get you directions, both can find out information for you, and both are really good. But one of them is a little bit better at voice recognition, one of them is a little bit more personable. So in this instance, Siri is a little more personable in my opinion, but on the Android side, I find I get a better, more accurate result. So let me do a quick example. What was the last football score of the playoffs?
Which league? College football or NFL?
NFL.
Here are the scores from the playoffs round 1.
So you can see Android just brought me up a search, and I could just as easily go to the website and find that information. I could also find it in news, but here it asked me which league. And I think it's a little bit more personable in that sense, in that it seems to be more like a person. If we ask it for directions, it will give us directions. If we ask how it's doing, let's ask both of these how they're doing. How are you today?
I feel good.
And again, you can see it gives me search results. They're both really good, but certain things are more easily done, such as reminders and things on iOS. Now, that's changed recently where you want to do a reminder. You can definitely do that without having to guess the perfect words like you used to have to do on Google Now. But right now, I think Siri is more personable, but I tend to like search results I find better with Google Now and certain different things in my area. It just depends what you're looking for. Both are good, but in different ways. The app stores on both devices is very good. There's the App Store from iPhone or the iOS App Store, and then we have the Google Play Store. And both of them organize information okay, and you can find quite a bit, but pretty much any app you're going to find on iOS, you'll either eventually find or will already be on the Play Store. So anything from music, and you've got two different apps for that. You've got the Apple Store, but you also have the iTunes Music Store, which includes video and music and TV and things like that. And then you have the iBook Store. So Apple kind of separates all of that, where Google combines it all. So if I go into games, I can go into games here. I can go into Explore here. And we can look for different categories here, just like games. Everything's laid out a little bit differently, but I think you get the idea. So we can pick, let's pick action games, and you can see they're laid out just in their own way, but both of them have great selections. In fact, most of the same apps are there. Banking apps, money apps, games, things like that. I really like both operating systems. In fact, I find myself going back and forth between iOS and Android Lollipop quite a bit. I could use either as a daily driver, and this is the part where I ask you what you like more and why. I personally am not that crazy about customization. I tend to like the stock layout and everything like that, but both of them are very, very good for that. Which one do you actually prefer, and why do you prefer it? And is there some specific app you like on one better than the other? Just let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about which one you think is better and why. Again, let me know in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.